This isn't going to be fun with flags. This is going to be me speaking about Francis Drake. The world seems to only respond to the amount of publicity someone can gather in the public media. This is probably one of the few ways that I, with a single fella here in Wheeler, Oregon, can get the word out. Although I've been working on this for since 2002, so I guess that's 17 years. And it started with Wayne Gitzen, I guess. He was the curator and executive director of the Tillamook County Pioneer Museum. And when I moved to the coast here, he would come into my store and ask if I'd like to buy something that the museum was phasing out or something he had in his private collection. I really never asked, never worried about that part of it, never even thought about that part of it, where it was coming from, although I do know that, you know, they do such a thing as that. And I had a bookstore and an antique store in Wheeler. And so I had known Wayne actually before that even. That was in 2005. I had known Wayne about even before that. And, you know, the older you get, the harder it is to remember when you knew somebody. But I had another friend who said, I heard there were Indians here originally, and that was like in about 1986 or so, because I had moved here in 1985 and in Oregon, from California, and Southern California. So my friends would go see Wayne Gitzen. Oh, go see that guy down at the museum down there in Tillamook, you know. Oh, okay. So I went down there and I said, could someone tell me where I could find out some information about Indians? And so they called down to Wayne's office, and he came upstairs and said, well, you know, he was a spectacled kind of, you know, overweight fella. He was always courteous, you know. And I just asked him the same thing, where I could find out some information. And he told me if I could find Dr. Newman's thesis of the dig that he did over in Netarts in 1954 to 1955, that would be a good place to start. Netarts, for those who don't know, is about 15 miles south of here. Still the same Indian tribe, which would be the Salish. So we can get into that later on. So anyway, I went down and found out some information. I finally found the information. Well, that's another story, another time, but it wasn't on the bookshelf, so let's just put it that way. I had to get out of Oregon State. I was sort of into Indians for 20 years. And then when Wayne died in 2005, he gave me his papers, his research papers in his library. And that's including all the things he used to say about the galleons and Drake. And also doing a survey on Neahkahnie Mountain, which was like the news. In fact, I had written something back in 2002 saying that Drake was here, only I knew nothing then. And the little pamphlet of their chapbook that I wrote is, you know, it's a few things that are right, most of it's wrong. But what was right was that he did a survey, because I talked to Wayne, and I should back up a little bit. When I had my store, he came into my store one day, it was about 2000 or so, and asked me if I wanted to split a case of books. And I said, yeah, who are they? It was Sam Balf's Secret Voyage to the Pacific Northwest. In fact, I can probably show you that book. It's pretty easy. It's his book. I always like to show that book for anyone. You know, it's a nice book. It was actually the first book I started really reading about Drake. And it was 2001. So I split a case of books with Wayne, because I had a bookstore too. And I sold more than the library did, so I asked for some more, and I think he had the idea that I was interested in Drake. But in here on, I can't tell you which page exactly, but here's picture in here of Phil Costagini's thesis from Oregon State University, showing the survey that Drake did on Nehalem Mountain. If you look on my excuse me, if you look on my one of my websites, francisdrakeassociation.org, you'll probably find Phil's talk. Hopefully, if we saved it. There's another story. Gosh, it's sort of like the dog ate my homework. We filmed Phil at the Pine Grove Community Center here April 9th. And it was supposed to be streamed live, but unfortunately, on Nehalem Mountain, which borders it, blocks the signal. So we had to just record it. And then the fellow who recorded it next day says, "Well, he has his own channel that he films and publishes all the time. I forget off the top of my head what that's called, but anyway, he streams his own channel. So he says, I got to go camping out at the Spit on Tillamook Bay. I'm going to go out there for 3 days." I was, "Oh, okay." So that means he's not going to do anything about my work, because it was supposed to be put up on my websites. And lo and behold, that night the boat sank, and got